Hi all, I'm back again with another unboxing video, and this time I'm looking at one of my most eagerly awaited arrivals for some time actually. Nope, it's not this guy, but this guy. That's right, I've officially started drinking the Hasbro Kool-Aid, or Takara I guess, and I'm pretty much committed to the plus repaints at this time. I'm just going to have to learn to accept it after a lot of deliberation and holding out for a while. I've decided I can't live without them in my life because I'm such a toon junkie. So MP-18 plus streak, or blue streak, just arrived today. Box is a little bit beat up, not too bad I guess, just the end there, it's got a bit of a dent in it. Here's the packaging, just a quick 360 look at it. Demos his new face sculpts, and it's obviously got removable face plates which the previous version didn't have. Some of the effects that you get with him now, the blaster and rocket effects, and also, you know, the usual stuff that you find affixed to these boxes. Curiously though, I didn't get the sleeve that I got with Prowl, the black sleeve. So I don't know if that was removed prior to transit to keep the weight down or something, because this one came directly from China. But yeah, it's a bit annoying really, because that would have been quite cool, because this is a limited edition after all. So yeah, a bit strange. It only just occurred to me that. Anyway, this is the main thing. So without further ado, let's bust it open. I'm going to keep the original MP-18 on hand so that we can do a little bit of a comparison with the bot mode. Might even, if I can do it quickly enough, convert that one to alt mode just to see what it looks like, but I'm going to leave it in bot mode because that's the main comparison for my mind. So let's grab the box. I've already opened it at one end just to save time. So let's see what we get in the package. Put the box over there. Okay, so we get the obligatory collector's card, MP-18 Plus, along with a set of instructions. I'm not going to open that because I don't need it, because I've transformed this mould enough now, and it's so similar to the original G1 toy. Anyone who's familiar with that should have no trouble with it anyway. But here's Streak himself in his little plastic prison. And straight off I can say that I am loving that deco. Yeah, that is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the original. It's one of my first Masterpiece Autobots, and even one of my earliest Masterpiece figures. And it's, you know, a little bit of trivia, Blue Streak was actually the first Transformer I ever owned back in 1984. I'd already started collecting the comics at that time, but that was the first figure I ever bought, or was ever bought for me. So it's always going to have a very special place in my heart. And I love the Masterpiece, the original Masterpiece deco, because it's so reminiscent of the original toy. Just, you know, with a lot more articulation, and, you know, well, everything is about a million times better in terms of that. The original figures, as we know, weren't exactly the greatest feats of engineering. But this, I really like this this high toon accuracy deco. I can see in there we get the gun painted in more toon accurate colours, and there are the blast effect pieces and the alternate head sculpts, or face sculpts I should say. So let me just pop him over. I'm going to remove it from front of the camera so I can break the seal. Right, there we go. So let's take Streak out and bring the car in front. There we go. That already from that angle looks fantastic to my eyes. I'm loving the colours. It's not quite sitting flush though. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, it's not rolling very well. Obviously I haven't transformed this, so it's coming straight out of the box, so it's probably just not clipped together quite as well as it could be. Excuse me. So what do I notice first off? Well, already there's a sense of some relief, because it's not the worst paint job. It's not perfect, I can see that straight off. There are a couple of issues which I'll point out, but I've seen people have been getting this figure, and I've been looking on forums for the last couple of days at the people who've already received it, and there have been some quite noticeable issues with the paint, the quality. And I think since I think I'll just check the box a moment just to see, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, since they switched to Vietnam for the factories, I don't know, well, it seems to me that since they did that for the Plus line of figures, the quality of the paint's not as good. It's very hit and miss. My Prowl had a few issues, some splodges, some burrs, you know, it wasn't great. This is better by the look of it, at least at first glance, so I'm happy about that, and it's nowhere near as bad as some of the issues I've seen on figures that people have had in hand for the last couple of days, where they've had really terrible paint issues. This looks pretty clean for the most part. I'd love the two-tone colour. The Tampoed Autobot symbol looks to be pretty good, if that's showing up for you. There you go. There aren't any really obvious issues with the paint. The only thing I can really say is that the line between the top of the bumper there and the hood, or the bonnet as I'm English, that's a little bit, it's not quite as clean as it could be, but it's not terrible, and I've seen a lot worse. I saw one poor guy had a massive defect at that line there. It was really bad. Yeah, other than that, I'm pretty happy with it, at least in alt mode. I mean, I haven't converted it yet, but it still looks pretty good. One other thing I read about only today, actually, and a couple of hours ago, was that a lot of people have been complaining about a gap between the hood and the bottom of the windshield, and sure enough, it does appear to have it. Doesn't really feel like it wants to go in any further, so I don't quite know why that's now an issue when it never was on the old. It's not a problem with that version of the mould, and it wasn't a problem with the KO I previously had either, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. It looks like it's maybe something that potentially affects a reasonably large number, or reasonably high number of these figures, but thankfully I'm not really an alt mode kind of guy, so I tend to display my figures almost exclusively in robot mode, and that won't show up. But I could see why that would annoy someone who did want this for alt mode, and it does look great in alt mode as well. That's what's annoying. The colour scheme is really fantastic. I've straightened out a bit now, so it does roll a bit more freely. Although that back wheel there doesn't seem to want to roll. I don't know what's going on with that. It's almost like it's not. Yeah, it's very. Oh, that's very loose. So that one's not quite as loose. I wonder if that plays into it. That's why it's not rolling as well as it could do. It's just slightly off axis. Yeah, I think that's what's wrong with it. I think it's slightly off axis, so it doesn't roll properly. Luckily, again, I'm not someone who rolls cars around, or these models around, so I'm not really too worried about it. But I know it's not an issue with that original one, so it's slightly concerning that the Plus version does have that problem. But there you go. I'm not going to dwell on it, because thankfully for me, and I know this is not for everyone, but thankfully for me, I'm more concerned with bot mode, with the robot mode. So let's get him converted. Now I'm going to try and do this from memory. It's been a while since I've transformed this mould, but it's, as I say, it's quite similar to the G1 toy, so I'm hoping it will just come back to me as I'm doing it, and that I don't break it on camera, because again, that will be a massive shame, for want of a better word. Let's see what we do with this. I'm pretty sure these come out first. There we go. And then let's take these out. Yeah, there we go. So that comes out, doesn't it? That's right. And then we have to loosen that. There we go. And then these feet will break apart, and then I'm pretty sure what happens there, I've got to remember now, pretty sure these have to break apart as well. Maybe I should concentrate on doing one thing at a time. That's it, there's a little pin in there, isn't there, or post, that has to come out. Oh yeah, and the legs, this here, I believe. Yeah, that comes out like that, doesn't it? Move the foot down, and you pull these apart, and then these come out. I remember these being quite stiff anyway and difficult to do. And that comes down like that for the foot. I think that comes up, and that pops around, and you bring the heel spur out, and this piece down, and the whole leg extends. These are quite tight joints, I'll say that. The feet are a bit loose actually, but the legs are quite tight. So let's take this piece out again, so that bit there goes down, and then split the leg, fold that down when I think of it, move the foot down, fold that piece over, get the heel spur flipped around, and pull the leg down and into place. And there we go, we've already got half a car standing on a pair of legs. So let's see if I can remember how to do the next bit now. If memory serves, this piece here, this head, there we go, that pops up. Oop. Okay. Seems to be hitting it. Why is that hitting it? Does it need to go through? Oh, there we go. Turn the head around. That's weird. Hitting it. That clips up. I think I've pushed that too far now. That's annoying. Yes, I've almost certainly pushed that too far. That's probably going to snap when I push it back. But I'll deal with that in a bit. What do we do now? That goes back up. There's a waist rotation, I believe. Am I right in that? There must be. Yeah, there is. It's very stiff though. I'm sure that this was not supposed to be this stiff. There we go. But it is very stiff. The arms then, they go out like that. And then this whole assembly here, flip these things up, fold that in, and that comes up. Well, first of all, I think actually we do have to get these down, and then I have to remember how these go. Do they? Pretty sure that just, not entirely sure. Oh great, his arm came out of the ball socket. That's good. That's really what you want, isn't it? Arm out of the ball joint. There we go, that's locked in place now. Head is up, wings, they go up like that, and then the arms can come back up like that. These joints, some of these joints are very stiff, I have to say. A lot stiffer than I'm used to on my previous version, yet the feet are quite loose. Let's give them his cannons, put them down like that. That is pretty much there, I think. It's not perfect. Haven't really cleaned it up, but this is just for the purposes of seeing what it looks like. There we go. Let's bring this in a bit more. Obviously I've got that in a slightly more dynamic pose, but you get the idea. Well, robot mode, I have to say, I am loving that guy. He looks great. I think the paint really looks fantastic on this new one. Oh, I haven't clipped the backpack in. That's the one thing I forgot to do. So that lifts up like that. There are two grooves, and that just pops in like that. Right, there we go. That's all done now. yeah, wow. Okay, so some of the issues with the mould still remain. So you've obviously got quite hollow legs at the back there, quite a few visible screw holes, but by and large, this is a fantastic looking figure. I really like the deco on it. I think it looks great. You have that two-tone just looks, it's so tune accurate, and it just looks much nicer, I think, than the original. Not that I dislike the original, as I've said, it's always going to have a special place in my heart, but this guy, that's Blue Streak from the Toon for me. And let's just see if I can bring this in and let it focus. That face sculpt, that screams Blue Streak to me. It's really great, and the head sculpt as well is just better all round, more accurate to the Toon, cleaner, and I'm very pleased to say that I don't have any significant issues with mine. That face sculpt, the head sculpt, all of it, it's pretty clean. I can't see any major paint issues anywhere, so I think I've been quite lucky here. I saw one person online, one of these windows was painted and the other one wasn't, but mine's fine. So touch wood, I think I've come out of that okay, largely. Yeah, let's see if we can get some of the accessories. One of the major problems with the original version of the mould was that it would never hold its gun properly. Always held it on an angle. And I hope to God they fixed that with this, because that was just stupid. And yeah, straight away, there we go. No problem at all. Straight as a die. Looks great. Let's, I'm probably not going to bother to swap some of the faces out right now, but I'll see if I can bring them in so that you can get a good look at them on camera. Just fish them out of the box here. So let's have a look at his shocked stroke shouting face. That looks great, I think. Good sculpt, no paint defects on it. And then let's have a look at his smiling face. This one doesn't want to focus. Come on, you. Why are you being silly? There we go. Yeah, also looks great. Really nice job they've done on that, and the paint's no problem at all. Phew. Now to some of the things that I didn't think I was that bothered about until I saw people using them in pictures. But these blast effects, they look pretty sweet. I have to be honest. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what they're going to look like in situ. There we go. Can this pop off? Yes, it can. What happens with that? That goes on as well. Does that go another way? No, that goes on there. So you can have both of those effects. Oh no, I've got the wrong thing on there, haven't I? What am I doing? So I've got the wrong thing on there. That piece. What am I doing? Not doing it right, whatever I'm doing. So yeah, you can have the two long pieces in there if you want, which looks pretty cool. And then I'm guessing this goes over the end of the barrel, and then you can put whatever gun effect you want on there. So I imagine what you might want to do is have his gun with this piece on it, like that. Looks pretty cool. And then yeah, this piece you could put on there, slightly smaller blast effect coming out. Let's move that up a little bit. As you can see, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't looked at exactly what plugs where, but there's another one here. I need to look at what that attaches to. It might be so that you can extend the blast a little bit more. It's probably what it's for, actually, looking at it. But yeah, I'll have a look at that in greater detail when I get 5 minutes. But next to the original mould, sorry, the original deco I should say, I think this looks brilliant. This is, I think, by far my favourite of the Plus line. I've got, got to remember the numbers now, is it MP-17 for Prowl and MP-20 for Wheeljack. So I've got both the original and the Plus versions of those figures. And while I prefer the Plus versions to the original deco on all of them, this is by far and away the most impressive of the three, I think, just because of the sheer number of well, the extra bits you get with him for starters, and also the difference between the paint on the original, or the bare plastic on the original, and the paint on this. It just looks much nicer. Whereas MP-20 Plus, I love the cartoon deco, but it's quite plain, and the original deco was quite nice anyway. And Prowl, again, that's probably the one with the least number of differences. I mean, it has the blue windows, and it doesn't have as much in the way of tampo detail. But, you know, there are a few minor cosmetic differences, but aside from that, it's almost the same as the original release. This, on the other hand, as you can see, it's night and day. I mean, completely different colours, even the legs, all of this is different. The blue windows are different, the colour under the hood, this here, the headlights, the face sculpt is completely different. The fact you get 2 additional faces, the fact that you get these add-on pieces as well, I just think it looks great. And I mean, I haven't obviously tried to pose it dynamically yet. I've just popped the gun out, which is annoying, but yeah, maybe they haven't quite fixed these gun issues. Oh no, it's just me being stupid. But yeah, you know, you can actually get some really nice poses out of this, I'm sure. I'll try something quickly just to see what we can get. So obviously Blue Streak was a gunner. Let's see him in full fire effect there. Just bring him in front so you can see that. I think that's a pretty nice looking pose, and that's within about 2 seconds of playing around with him. I'm sure I can get him into some really nice dynamic poses with these effects pieces. Kind of makes you wish that they did effects pieces for more Masterpiece figures now. Something I never thought I'd say, but it really does add to the overall look of the figure, I think. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's you know, these repaints aren't particularly cheap, and but I picked this guy up as part of a bundle with the other Datsuns, with Prowl and Smokescreen, and they were really cheap for all three. So ultimately, you know, I even sold the KO Blue Streak I had as well for a reasonable amount. So, you know, I don't feel like I've paid too much for this, that this was an extravagance. This feels like a natural evolution for me. It brings me very, very close now to what I consider a fully fledged cartoon accurate G1 collection as well, or certainly a season 1 More Than Meets the Eye collection, which is my real, along with the new season 3 box, that's my main collecting ambition. Not really that bothered about season 2, to be honest, or Headmasters or anything like that. But this guy now, I think it's really only Brawn that stands out now as looking a little bit too far removed from the cartoon. I'm sure, you know, once I get the Fans Toys version, that will bring me really, really close. I'm sure in the future there's going to be another version of an MP style cliff jumper that will get rid of the backpack and be a little bit more accurate, and I'll go for that. There may be a slightly better wind charger. Well, to be fair, that wouldn't be that difficult, would it? But there could be a bit. But the one we've got now looks okay. It's just, you know, it's certainly closer to the cartoon model than Brawny is to Brawn's cartoon model. Again, gears could stand with a little bit of improvement. Maybe even Huffer, because I've got Bag Cube's Huff. That could potentially, but I'm pretty happy with that one. I'm going to get the new MPB just because I'm a sucker. Even though I do love MP-21, I think MP-45 is just going to be that little bit more tune accurate for me. And yeah, and other than that though, I'm pretty damn happy with everything. You know, I've got a great Trailbreaker, I've now got a great Mirage. You know, I've got all of the official MP Plus versions of the Carbots. I have a TE01 for my Optimus Prime, which is really, really spot on. I've got the upgrade kits for Ironhide and Ratchet from Shadow Fisher, which remove the hip skirts and make them look a little bit more tune accurate. Although there could be better versions of them, truth be told. Hound, oh, that's another one. Yeah, I'm gonna get the MP-47. Is it Hound? So Willis will be retired then, but even Willis looks pretty good. So in the next 6 months to a year, I think I'm going to be there or thereabouts, and I can give up. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we all say that, but we never do. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to bother transforming this guy back to car mode, just because I'm sure you all know what he looks like anyway. And you can see the colour differences. I don't really need to do it. I probably will actually put this back into alt mode now and have it displayed with my original MP-17 and MP-20. So I'll have those three in alt mode and have the plus versions in their robot modes. I probably won't add these cannons, these rocket launchers, sorry. I like the Toon versions, the Toon look more. I'm going to spend a lot of time playing around with this guy tonight to see what the best poses are and add him to my DTOLF. And anyway, I hope you've appreciated this relatively short video. I've tried not to waffle quite as much as I normally do, but I think that's unavoidable, I'm afraid, because I don't do a lot of prep for these. They're just very much my immediate reactions on the unboxing. But if you're on the fence at all about this figure, I would say it's well worth your money if you're into the Toon look. I mean, if you're not, that's a great figure. I like the deco. It's one of my favourite MP pieces, as I've said, for a variety of reasons. It was one of my earliest, and it's based on the first ever G1 toy I had, and I liked the comic book version of Blue Streak. But this guy, this new Plus deco, looks fantastic, and I'm very lucky that I've got a decent copy of it from what I can see. A few minor issues, but they are very minor. So I lucked out, which I was due a bit of luck after some of the paint defects I've had on both official and third-party figures lately. But I would wholeheartedly recommend it, even based on this very short, you know, first impression. So yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in to the latest video, and I'm hoping to bring you another unboxing soon. I believe Fans Toys Quietus T, the FT29T, is coming into stock this week in the UK, so I'm getting that from TFS Express or Amiga Lock or whatever they're calling themselves these days. Hopefully that will be with me by next week, if it does come in this week. So I will definitely do an unboxing and a comparison with the original FT29 on that one, just to see if I've wasted 140 quid or whatever it is on incremental gain. I mean, I know it's just an incremental gain, but I just hope it is closer to the version of the figure I always wanted, and that the colour differences show up on camera. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye on my Amiga channel, and I'll bring that to you as soon as I can. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.